You're now listening to the Open Africa podcast with Laolu, Nosa, and Furo. Welcome back to the Open Africa podcast. We have the usual suspects on this episode.
We don't do those intros again, Furo.
I know, but I'm just saying.
It's pre-recorded, have you?
Yes. On this episode, since we're badly behaved.
Do we have theme song?
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
Now I thought about it, but I realized that you guys don't pay me enough for this shit.
I don't understand. Who's
Sorry,
getting paid?
Footy Loops.
FL Studio, they took them to court for Fruity Loops.
Are you serious? Anyways, back to the actual matter at hand. We did not do year-end review, but we intend to do small industry gist and also perhaps light predictions for the year. Just something light.
Please, can you pass me my phone before it begins to buzz? Because clearly we are not ready for this year.
I can't predict anything this year.
Why can't you predict, please?
Please.
Last year was too rough.
It was too rough.
Do you know my own prediction for this year? Dollar at 1,400.
Calm down.
You people will suffer in this country. Sure, we are begging you to do the
Are
right
you not
thing.
here with us?
I say you will all suffer except me because my God will deliver me. All of you are going to poverty. If you were not poor before, you'll be poor this year.
Do you think startups have factored in election in their plans for the year?
If they've not,
If
then
not,
they are
then
in
they're
trouble
silly.
because they are going to sack everybody in their companies too.
How?
It is a year of suffering.
Now, in like strategy sessions, they do like plots, like
The dip in their transaction value or
the
whatever.
scenarios if Obi wins, Tinubu wins, and if Atiku wins.
Well, me in my life, I've tracked that.
Financial
I've plotted
institutions used to do it because they have sense and they've learned how to navigate whatever waters the economy will throw at them. But these startups,
I've realized the best business strategy is just to copy whatever banks are doing.
if you want to survive in Nigeria, but don't carry that strategy outside of Nigeria.
Because I was looking at it, like if you just make somebody's non-interest income, you are fine. At least you are blown for Nigeria. Like if you just make GTB's non-interest income, that's it. No lending, nothing. Just manage that one.
I mean, yeah, I guess I think the point here is we hope everybody in tech ecosystem realizes that you do not exist outside of Nigeria, no matter how
nice your deck is or
Yes.
how white your investor is,
yes,
that guy does not have your problems. You have unique problems.
yeah.
Speaking of what's happening in the white man's land, one Nigerian business took their business abroad and collected money laundering fine. I forgot to tell you people.
Please, who?
GTB. They fined them
yes,
like
yes,
$7
saw
million
that.
or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not
They
that
said they warned them like 4 times. They did not answer. So they fined them. Then because they did not argue too much, they got 30% discount on the fine. It's like buying suya.
I think that's nice. That's nice from the FCA. Or it's like, you didn't protest.
They say if you don't protest, they like, because they didn't protest, they became eligible for the 30% discount on the fine. So the thing dropped from like 12M to like 7M. I say wonderful. Just
Must
wonderful.
be nice. But I know that it must be tricky for like Nigerian entities opening up foreign offices and realizing that regulator cannot easily be bought.
We are not. Hey, we're on this podcast.
they have
We are
to-
not saying that
They have to
anybody bought
actually do
anybody.
business. Please, they are buying them.
But what I find fascinating in the story is that your white man regulator warned you 4 times.
Maybe they didn't see the email now.
They missed it.
They missed it.
They went to the wrong email box. Anyways.
Oh my God. They said the weaknesses were repeatedly highlighted to GT Bank by internal and external sources, including the FCA. But despite this, GT Bank failed to take appropriate action to fix them. Yeah. That's very fascinating.
You know, I've always wondered what like all these Nigerian banks, like UK things, are doing.
Some of them are doing real business, others are not. So like FBN, for instance, I think they're just doing like mortgages in the UK. They're not doing
But now that
They're also doing this thing. What do they call this thing? Like correspondent banking.
for small banks like Unity.
Yeah. And then if they have clients like HNIs in those regions as well, they'll also cater to them small. It's very, very, very interesting.
That's a good business because I feel like it's retirement home. Like if you're in GTB now, maybe you're not going to be.
They even they
just say yeah, go to London.
one of my neighbors was, anyways. Yeah.
Furo, you give us the gist outside. Another thing I found very fascinating in this story is the statement from GTB, where they said, "We note with sincere regret the FCA's findings, blah, 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 blah." They now said, regarding AML control gaps in our operations in the past, and we are very sorry for this. I say, wow. This thing, who wrote this thing?
So apologetic.
So apologetic.
They use ChatGPT to write it.
You can tell they're not responding to their fellow Nigerians.
It's not like when GTB has downtown and they ignore you people.
GT Bank was shut down for like a couple of days this week. My mom was trying to do one transaction. I just keep following up and following up and following up and following up. She was just fed up.
I can't believe also people are always mad at like digital banks when they have small issue. GT Bank is locking, holding people hostage.
My guy, people are mad about all banks because money is hard. Money is hard.
See, I saw people were tweeting like, "This is the last time. This is the last time.
This is the last.
This is the last time. The next week I saw her complain again. This is the last."
Do you know that my former employer, I saw somebody, like a friend of mine was complaining about them on the internet. Per usual, I would never say anything because it's none of my business. And she was like, somebody replied to her, was like, "When are you going to leave this useless bank?" I was like, wow. But you know the funny thing? Everybody is a useless bank. Everybody.
They don't leave.
You can't leave. Where are you going to?
My brother, if you
want to
leave, you will go and meet another useless bank.
Exactly.
The solution is to keep your money under your bed.
I tried to close
But
my
Emefiele is changing currency, so you can't.
See, double whammy.
You know, I've only seen that new note like once.
Apparently it's for privileged. Are you privileged?
We shall not speak of these things. The Central Bank of Nigeria is committed.
The guys on the streets know they are changing the money.
I hope so.
Did you see that video where conductor refused to collect the money?
Are you serious?
Because I'll start tipping guys with old money.
Nosa is a problem. Bro,
Very
did
big
you hear what he
problem.
said?
You see us that tipping guys.
He said he will start tipping guys with the old money. Then they won't be able to spend it.
I'll give them
You say, this my guy is very generous. So he gave me 5K.
5K for parking.
Oh, dear Lord.
No, but I think that the new currency, I was joking about the privilege thing, but I think what they're really trying to drive is digital transactions. And it's going to be a rude awakening for like our parent generation, because those guys, no matter how much you want to charge them for that cash withdrawal, they're going to withdraw that cash and they're going to pay and they're going to do that. They're going to collect their money and do their transactions.
My sister.
But they're getting forced to
This
now
is why the traditional banks are
do
enjoying.
online
This
banking.
pricing for those charges is significant.
That's what I'm saying now. Like before they would pay, but now it's like,
that money is plenty to collect from somebody.
They will pay it.
some of them will still pay.
They will pay. They are very stubborn. They will pay it.
Man, speaking of chat GPT, people have been finding use cases, like even in financial services, like it's the wildest thing.
I think there are plenty of applications. Customer service, I can for one. I think that's like the first one I'd apply to. Because instead of hiring all this customer service, because it's not as if like ChatGPT is like smart like that. It also gives stupid current sounding answers, but also that's just like Nigerian customer service.
Wow.
So I feel like you save on cost if you find a way to get it to respond.
I understand where you're coming from, but that's such a
Oh my God.
yeah.
You know, customer service, I feel for those guys because they have, like, they're given scripts and they get judged on those scripts.
Apart from that, no.
So you are not allowed to show initiative.
So the thing for me, I think the biggest thing for me is that they just don't understand the product.
You pay for what you get.
Yeah, they don't understand the product. They've never really worked in a place where they've had to sell that product. So they don't really understand what you're asking them. So anything you see, just collect.
Anything off script, just
Like they can't.
Like they'll never give you like I called MTN one day. And I don't recall what it was that I was
Mr.
trying to
Laolu,
do.
I'm still with you.
Oh my
she
god,
said,
that thing annoys me.
She said, sincere apologies, sir. I'm going to check now on the system to see if I can do anything for you. Sincere apologies, sir. The system that I want to check is currently down. Do you mind calling back? I'm like, what is with these sincere apologies every 2 seconds? Just
That's what they've told them to say.
they don't have, you can't veer away. So that's actually a really good use case. You just impute the customer's problem. You train the
bot to just be saying sincere apologies, sir, and to sound just like a real Nigerian customer service agent.
but with actual solution. It's interesting.
You type like 3. I'm still with you.
Absolutely.
A couple of years ago, we did work on a chatbot. Nosa, you too, you did. You did your
going through
own.
my old emails.
Foundational
I was going
chatbot, bro.
I was going through my old emails and I was seeing me doing like back and forth with like engineers one time. And I think maybe like bill payment was failing or something. And I was like firing InterSwitch that this thing is not working. I was like, this is such a long time ago. I'm an original chatbot guy. I even forgot that I did that work.
Yeah.
After he left, it
And every time,
Yes, after I left, the thing scattered. Like I never even claim it because it's not there.
every time I talk to like vendors and they say AI, I start rolling my eyes from the moment I hear AI.
Oh God, there's one guy.
Say AI chatbot.
There's one guy that used
But
to.
it's really Ibukun on the back end, just updating the answer.
This is my job. Every morning I'll review all the fresh questions I didn't have answers to. Then I'll add answers to them.
Oh,
Then
God.
like, this bot is learning from my. And there was one guy that I think was one of an InterSwitch at one, but I don't think he will. Once those guys, once they get older, you're not going to be CEO. You can't start your own. So he started his own. I think it's like a chatbot thing. Now
I know this fellow.
they pivoted to something else.
Are you
now.
serious?
Yes, I think it's like some message customer engagement platform now. I saw an ad for it and I was just laughing because I had a call with him one time. I was like, bro, I've done this chatbot thing before.
It's not. Does not
There's
make
nothing
sense.
you can hear me. I don't know.
Yeah, no, sir, I don't.
This lie.
That guy.
This lie that you're lying to me. I also lied it to my managers.
Oh my days. Nah,
But
but Chat GPT is the real deal, man.
I've had like really good like valid use cases. Like it's almost like there's so many useless. I don't want to call them useless, but there's so many low value
repetitive
things,
requests
yes,
that customers
that I
come
get
with. Yeah.
that I just put like a prompt like in it. And even when I was doing appraisals, like usually my appraisals are normally like one line, just I beg good students, I'll be good reports.
Good boy. Good
So
girl.
what I'll do is that I'll put like bullet points of what I want to say. I'll like craft 2 paragraphs of this.
Oh my days. Sometimes when I think about dystopian like futures, because I like science fiction, and when I watch like dystopian futures where the AI has gone rogue, I look at ChatGPT and I'm like, this is how it starts. This is peak human laziness.
What do you mean laziness?
Human laziness
Right
is
to
No,
appraisal
because
is
I have
wrong.
like so many like reports to do. I don't know, it's as if everybody that has direct reports and
No,
the one
sir.
that has the most.
I wish I encountered ChatGPT before I did.
Yeah.
I
I wish I had
imputed
it.
prompts for partnership strategy, and this thing gave me content
I wish I had
that was
this.
like 60% of what I wrote after like
I wish I had
5
it.
days of work with input from multiple people.
I wish I had it as Stanbic when we started
When
ideas.
we crafted the strategy.
Strategy
and
for
you know,
ideas. I was actually thinking and googling
Yeah.
when I could have just put prompts.
Yeah.
I remember I did one blockchain presentation that year for CIP. I could have just put it. I know it's such low value, useless work that they just give you to do at that time in your career.
No, but it's not okay. Understand.
It's not okay. It's not
discredit
useless.
that work.
It's like
So that one
That was the
was pretty
foundation.
fire.
okay, so you learn a lot from doing the work, but it's very tedious.
Yes.
In the
Do you want
moment,
this to make
See, no, sir, I
you
feel
be
like
making 30 page presentation every time, and
Yeah.
nobody knows that you are the one behind the presentation. Your guy will just be talking as if he's the one that came up with it. Like you not just read it the 2 nights before.
anyways, once upon a time, our guy was trying to make me chief presentation maker in the
oh my
organization.
god.
He was really trying to sell me the career option. I was like,
No,
do I look
but the
like
work
an
you
idiot?
guys did back then probably has a hand in what's going on with you now.
So no,
Just that
Because I
context.
look at it because I did like process documents for
All
like
sorts.
software, like lifecycle management.
Yeah.
There's so many
There's so many
random
documents we
processes,
created
investment strategy
The
for
ones
growth
they-
stage startups that we never
that
even
never got
invested.
anywhere. Yeah. But the thing is, like, see, at the end of the day, those things still. So personally, they were foundation, and then even within the organization, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, people are still referring to those documents. Like, hey, I know we worked on something like this before. Where
Those people, that's the thing. Whenever I hear somebody referring to something that I worked on in the past, I'm like, I'm really worried about you.
Because you should have
You don't even know the mind frame I was. It's like 11 p.m. at night. I'm doing what's it called? Policy documents.
man.
Do I know this policy before?
Nope.
I'm just Googling policies.
Yep.
Speaking of policy documents.
When we did NDPR policy, I did privacy policy. I did policy boost, confidentiality policy. I did so many policies. I've never done policy like that before. I don't want to do it again.
I know we did
No.
stupid number.
So
of
that's really
policies.
that's one thing I appreciate like Chat GPT for is that where I have like a high level idea, maybe like a paragraph worth, and I just need someone to expand it into 2 pages so I can give somebody. Because that's really what a lot of the work is. It's like you write like 2, 3, 4 pages, but it's really one idea.
I think it's for me, Sha. I think
Yeah,
ChatGPT was designed for me because I'm an engineer. I give you bullet points. I don't know how
Do you
to
understand?
write
You have like
story.
bullet points.
Do you know the people that will enjoy Chat GPT a lot? Investment banking
Investment
analysts.
bankers, oh god,
Analyst 1 and 2. Oh god. It said do research on this industry. Just write a nice prompt for ChatGPT, copy and paste, and ship to your guys first draft. Then he will tell you what to add extra. Then you go back to ChatGPT and ask for that one again.
Because a lot of the things for all these things is that I usually have like you just get like different notes from like different references, and I have like 1 page full of yarns, but it's not like structured for anybody to read. The hard work is now converting
Making it
that 1
make
page
sense.
into like making it make sense for someone else to read. And oh god, I even used it to do technical documentation. I pity the guy that we had as technical writer because I put a sample request, sample response. I said this is what the API
Can
does.
ChatGPT output code in
it
specific frameworks?
Yes, you can.
So realistically, I could ask ChatGPT I could use it to build an app if I know what I'm doing small.
If you know the foundation. So that's the thing is where you find problems is if you have no idea what it is that output is supposed to look like, because it's very good at lying. Like it can tell you 1 + 1 is 5, and to write 2 paragraphs.
justification.
1 + 1 is 5. That if you didn't know it, like 1 + 1 is 5. Oh. So if you actually understand it, it's very easy to do like lazy work.
So it's important to have a basic knowledge
Yeah,
of whatever it is
exactly.
you're asking ChatGPT to do, Sha.
So if it's like, oh, even the product managers now, if you say, oh, this is what the feature is supposed to do, please write PRD.
I asked designer in the office to do waitlist for me, like waitlist websites. She did she used ChatGPT for all the copy on the thing, like every single line of copy on the thing.
eDrink Lagos, eDrink Festival promotional tweets, but all ChatGPT.
I think we need to move on.
All
I
the
think we
captions.
made the point.
We've made the point. This thing, it might not be coming for your job, but your guy will try it. They will sack you as experiment.
Evaluate is like, do I really need analyst one?
Yes. Then it's after they sack you, they'll now realize that I I actually still need
What
a
you now
human
need to do,
being.
you need a person that's good at
The prompts.
prompts. That would be the new job description.
The investment banking ChatGPT prompt analyst. That would be the title.
Anyway, QuedPal.
Yes.
QuedPal did or is doing right now pay later with Bolt.
I don't even think that's new.
Well, they started making noise about it again, whether it's new or not.
No, it's new from them.
I think
From
I
Bolt,
saw it
right?
last year. Like I used both at some point. After that, my Olori Buruku car broke down.
And you could do pay later. I know you could. I know you can do business accounts on both, like commercial accounts, where they just bill you end of month.
Yeah, I know some companies have been doing that
Yeah.
with.
So both even reaches out for you because Tix uses it for staff movement.
You guys are caring employers.
We're very caring.
There's some employers that don't care.
Best place to work. Like if we have an event and it's like working late, we always do accommodation. Very caring.
Must be nice.
Yeah. People should come and work for
No
us.
I'm sorry, is this not standard?
Which employer
I
has done
know.
that?
If you are working late overnight,
No.
hotel rooms,
Actually,
transportation to places,
actually,
poker.
I've discovered that it's not standard. Sorry, it's not.
Guy, please, let's just no comment. I'm not gonna.
Just because you're a good person doesn't believe. Don't.
Yeah.
Because it's a cost now.
Yeah.
Okay. No further comments.
Yes. Offline comments only.
Have you forgotten in branches you will have one picanto and it's like 10 relationship managers out to
No. If there were 10 relationship
And like,
managers, there would be
we have
like 3
poker.
cars. What often happened? No, but wait, hold on now. With our previous employers, what happened was that if there's one poker, there'll only be like 2 RMs. Or somebody will be getting a fuel allowance.
Did you ever have poker?
I don't know.
Were you not graduate trainees?
But were we not going out all the time? Did you ever have full allowance?
No.
But we're junketing around Lagos trying to
Wait.
do partnerships.
That's your.
Laolu, please.
I didn't want to
Don't
go here.
frustrate me. Don't frustrate me.
I didn't
We
want
used
to
to
go
do
there
VI to Yaba.
all the time.
Technically, that one is our guy that failed at that thing. Because he used English to talk about it for the longest time, but he
There's
never
some
did
people
it.
saying that we'll do Uber for the team. Nothing. See that guy.
Okay, moving on.
Don't come.
Moving on.
I did justification for. I wrote
Yes.
documents to justify why we should
Uber.
do Uber for the team.
Yeah.
I used to do plenty nonsense work. Anyway, QuedPal. Right now, pay later. Is there value?
No, dear. If you can't afford to pay for a trip, that's a problem.
Because if you look at it, maybe like max, it's like maybe 3-4K.
No, but wait. Okay, we said we're going to get.
I mean,
a
if someone
bit-
is broke.
Yeah, we're going to get a bit more technical on this podcast because I feel we laugh so much. People will actually forget that we have sense. Let's look at this thing
Wait now.
carefully. Why am I financing a trip? What is
If you're
the
financing,
what is
if
the
you're
persona
financing a boat
of
trip,
the person who will use financing for a boat trip? I'm going from
somebody
I'm
that
going
does
from
not-
Ikeja to VI. Maybe
someone
the
that
trip
does
is
not have
6K.
money. Someone that does not have money, that's the persona.
True. The way Nigeria is structured, if you even do it now, pay later.
No, my problem is it's not that people won't use it. People will use it.
Yes,
Yeah.
see, no,
QuedPal will collect their money back.
exactly, and
Don't worry, that's
and that's the thing. That's the thing about underwriting. When you are underwriting loans, when you're underwriting credits, you have to question your assumptions.
You know, when I was younger, I used to think I thought it was stupid that, because I can't remember that year we used to have a minimum ticket size for a loan was it 50 or 100K?
I think it was like 100 or something.
Yeah. And I remember asking the credit guys like, how come we don't do like micro loans? And he's like, the same work I'll use to assess 10K
Yeah.
loan is the same work I'll use to assess Dangote.
And
Why
the
would I
gag,
waste my time?
the gag is that if you start doing those 10K loans, applications will quadruple,
Yes.
and it will still be the same number of people that have to assess before writing.
And it's all bad loans.
And it's all bad because at some point the repayment behavior itself is not significant.
You know what's good? Nigeria is like the most subprime of all subprime markets. Like we are, Nigerian banks are not fully shut, which is what I've come to accept that maybe I was naive, and I thought what's it called? I was thinking too much about the customer, but from actually seeing Nigerians, and seeing what the economy is like, anybody that's borrowing like 2K, 3K for a ride, they have bigger problems at play.
Yeah, there's a much bigger problem at hand. And the
But that's
problem
thing.
the problem is
Nigeria
that
the
if you now
problem.
if you track usage, if you track disbursements, you think you have a successful product.
This boss boost.
But what you've essentially told me is that you have lent money to subprime lenders. This is like it is an operational expense. Like it is a day-to-day expense, transportation.
So because the thing is that the people that you can be that you should be lending money to as per the good market, there are people that can pay 3, 4, 5K both loan.
Yeah.
What they need is like 5 million, 10 million loan.
Maybe not even.
Yeah,
Maybe what they need is a
100K,
credit.
so-
Is a
or
credit card of
card.
100K.
Overdraft.
A credit card of 200K.
Overdraft. Then that's what they need.
Yeah, an
not-
overdraft of 200K.
It's not like
It's not a 5K
not
boat
5K
trip
boat-
that is
boat
their
trip.
problem.
Well, see,
But
like,
the people that want 5K boat trip, those are the people that will borrow
There are
and pay
plenty.
Bet Niger.
have I ever spoken about my experience in I don't think I've ever
I think
spoken
you
about
told,
it
you've not told, you've told me the story. I've not said it on the
on
pod.
podcast.
You played Bet Niger.
Nike, no. There were some layoffs at one point when I was in the bank, and then the companies paid these people like bulk, like severance pay. These people, bear in mind, these people had loans in the bank. Before the bank realized what was happening, the entire account statement, Bet Niger Naira Bet, the entire severance money gone. Their loans still outstanding. They now told me, small graduate training, to call them and ask how far. What am I supposed to say?
See, any
See the way my mouth is open.
any digital lender, anybody that did, and you are lending to people that Nigerian banks do not lend to, just know that
It's
you
a
are
tough
lending,
job.
you are lending to nonsense,
Yeah.
and you are sifting,
And your model must reflect it.
Your MPA will be high.
Yeah. So
That's
your
why they-
pricing must be
That's why they say that it's predatory lending.
Your
now.
pricing
But
must
their
be
pricing
predatory.
Must be crazy.
That's like,
your pricing must be predatory.
I can't
But
believe why they call it predatory lending. Have they, when Google is deleting the app, I want to be there. Like, Google, can you see the people? Can you see them?
Can you see how
no,
they're
but you know
moving?
the funny thing, and this is where I fault some digital lenders, and maybe that's why I've not done my own lending startup, because it is a no-brainer. You will make money, no-brainer. But there is a market that has largely been ignored by banks that is credit worthy.
Which is
There is a middle class of like young people that banks have ignored, that maybe the likes of
Because
Kuda
they're-
are
because
now
they're
starting to find.
But you see is that
because they're not being paid
But finding
from
them is
recognized
hard, sha.
organizations.
But there's value.
It's very hard to find those people. It's very stressful to find those
Yeah,
people.
but I think that
When you can lend to
that is
one
the work.
Dangote and you'll make more.
No. So I'm not even talking about. I'm not talking about what's it called now, like business lending or banks now. Banks have missed that opportunity. It will take a lot of work for them to regain it. But I think like digital banks have the opportunity, especially given that you now even have tools like all the Mono and Okra that can give you
So you need to be
visibility
very
into
patient
things.
in mining that market.
Yeah.
And once you're a VC backed business, you don't really have that quality of patience, which a lot of digital banks are. That's the unfortunate thing, is that you're not going to blow. Like, people want to lend this boss $10 billion 1 month. It won't happen. Because even when, I remember when we were Stanbic, there was a year where our unsecured lending portfolio was like maybe 4K, 5K people. And that's like a big high street bank. This was what, maybe 7, 8 years ago. And that's a big bank then. And at least those were performing loans. Digital banks want to do 100K
Lenders.
lend. I say we lend to 100K people. They want to put it on
On
of
deck.
year, on end of year announcements. I do big 100K big fonts. That's why people are getting flogged. Like, almost everybody's NPL is bad.
Of course now.
Like, and when I say like bad, it's like at least 50%. It's just because there's no gist, but it's at least 50%. Anybody that's worth
Yeah.
the NPL is at least 50%.
Somebody was trying to scam me. I remember that year. He said that his best friend is the CEO of one of the oil companies that should go and tell Stanbic to give him loan for vessel financing. So, bro, I know he's your best friend, so you can easily call him to give you the contract document. I can take the contract document. I can't go to the office and tell them who is his best friend.
He knows he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I tell you that.
You know, which is interesting because when I was in the bank, I think that was one of the things that they didn't do as of that time, that period.
Vessel and financing. Yeah, they didn't. But then even if
remember
were
they got
good to
people
have a
people got
flogged now
bonds.
from oil and gas.
I remember 2016 was a horrible year for every bank. Got oil and gas fire.
Diamond Bank's biggest wahala.
Yes, now.
So exposed to oil and gas.
Yeah, everybody had exposure. I remember being a graduate trainee, driving past, what's it called? Eco Bridge now. And one guy was like, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like one massive structure like this. Like, it looks like scaffolding, but it's clearly for oil and gas. And the guy was like, look, First Bank just, they just repoed this thing. This is the collateral that somebody used as this is what someone used as collateral for the financing. And I'm like, so they can get their money back. He said, find buyer first now.
That's the thing. That's what I was about to say. I think banks are
Specialized industries, you can collect collateral, that's fine. When it's time to liquidate it,
You be there. Who wants
good
to buy,
luck. Who is buying?
Tank Farm?
Do you get tank farm? You may even still see people that want, but this is just maybe one massive something technical thing like this. The number of people that can buy it, maybe there are 2 in the country, and 2 of them already have.
You know the good thing is that the RMA has already collected bonus on this.
Bro,
He's the recovery guy.
nah, that year was crazy. But I think for lenders, you need to. In any case, the game is the game. I'm not in this organization, so I can't really say what's going on in their mind. And I want to believe that they are not stupid people either, so they have a plan.
Now, people will learn. I think that's the one thing that will happen this year. That's one prediction. Is that guys will actually learn.
Dollar at 1,300, suffering in the land.
Because in election season, activity usually stops.
like the whole economy is going
everybody slows down.
By the way, if you still have exposure to, and this is not financial advice, but I just think everybody should revisit what they are holding. I will not say more than that.
Election season is not a good time. It's not, if especially for people that are trying to do like turbo growth this year. Oh, it's not. Anyway, lessons will be
Who
learned.
is trying to turbo growth this year?
Lessons will be learned.
Okay.
Who is Relief?
Yeah. Wow, you don't even know relief.
They're like, this is agri guys.
Yeah.
This Laolu. This is not a tech guy.
Me, I'm not paying attention to this industry again. No. Wow. I just want to make money.
That podcast.
I just want to make money.
Yeah.
I need 5 million naira now, unsolicited.
Anyways, relief is doing food processing. That's their mantra.
They're doing hard business.
Yes, they're doing the hard work.
Hard work. It's not like you shiny money transfer apps.
How much did they raise again?
It's like 3.5.
Yeah, I know they started off by on that vegetable oil, palm fruits value chain. I mean it's hard work. I know like it's something that me personally I thought about a couple of years ago when I looked at it, like doing that kind of work in Nigeria.
I can see logistics inside their description.
Logistics is part of it now.
I wish them the best because that's people doing hard work deserve to.
Has anybody succeeded in logistics in this country?
I mean, logistics is not the full thing now.
Yeah.
No, I'm just asking, just out of curiosity.
Has anybody succeeded in
Doing
logistics?
anything logistics at scale? I don't mean that you have to Okada that they used to call to collect package.
Are you not hearing someone is doing right now, pay later?
Marketing.
That's mobility, no sir. Credits for mobility.
Logistics. I mean, there are a couple of players.
I know that there are players.
Yeah.
The problem is, can they pay salary this year?
Yes,
or
they
are
can.
they still a going concern?
Yes, they are.
Can they pay salary for next year?
Yes, they can.
Okay, then that's good.
Yes, they can. They exist. Nosa, you're using one eye to watch football.
You have to cut that out.
No.
Anyway, speaking of numbers and random, I just remembered something. I can't even believe I forgot it. Remember when Kepa, you know that tweet I shared with you guys about Kepa, that their numbers for the year. You know they deleted the post.
Do you know Are we keeping this in the episode?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay. Do you know that I was Googling their numbers and I kept seeing the numbers? Like I was trying to find their numbers for something that I'm doing. And I kept seeing it in the Google description, but not the actual post.
Yeah, they did it.
Why?
I think, I don't know.
Too much.
Either the numbers were incorrect. That's one positive assumption. Or they didn't realize how bad those numbers are.
Until after you release it, people are like, guys, how far?
Because I saw it and I was like, this is. I don't understand. They just got a super agent license. They've raised like over $10 million, I think. Yes, over 10 million combined. And they processed some $5K.
Ah.
That's very low.
Well, that's a business that I believe in and I'm rooting for.
Why?
I feel like they tackled, or at least when they started, they tackled something that I thought was an opportunity in the market, but not enough people were looking at. And then they got a lot of traction with like those 300 to 400K small businesses using them for bookkeeping and invoicing and all of that. I felt like,
Okay.
I've always felt like it was a gap, and that lack of visibility was also why higher quality lenders couldn't lend to those small businesses.
So they had 482K. What's it called? What's
Small businesses, yeah. SMEs.
482K.
Yeah. They sent 306K invoices.
Yeah.
See, this is my problem. People should start declaring active users. Stop this nonsense of.
Furo, nobody is ever going to do that.
Okay, no.
Me,
But
God
the
sef,
numbers will
I
come
say if I
eventually.
have 1 million users but only 20 are active, you will never see that 20
The
anywhere
numbers
on
will
the
catch you
internet.
eventually, because when your volumes are not matching the user numbers, it starts telling the story on your behalf.
In a way, I mean, deep down, I've always been worried about, because like you said, it is because we talked about PFMs now. It's essentially bookkeeping is essentially PFMs for businesses.
It's personal finance,
Yeah.
or business finance management.
And the thing is, it is not something we value enough in this country for it to be a big enough market.
But now, to be fair to them, hearing this back and thinking about it, that agency banking step is now a bit more logical than I initially thought.
Because it's a pivot.
It felt like a very significant pivot in the past, but I can see how using an agent network to drive activity for like this invoice generation, this store of value, this digital behavior that you want from business, I can see how it's a more logical move. But if those numbers are accurate, that's actually it's actually pretty low for the customer base. Because if you are doing your assumptions and you say, oh, a customer will do, let's even say 5 transactions a month, you should times 12, that's 60 transactions per customer, like 60 invoices per customer. Because again, these are small businesses, their turnover is probably very, very like high. It's
High velocity.
fast moving consumer goods.
Low value but high velocity.
Yeah, you should have multiples of that as your year-end numbers.
I worry because I think they raised.
So is it a
lot.
product? Anyways, I guess the thing that sometimes is it might be a product market fit issue. It might
Yeah.
be ease of using the product. There are lots of things that could.
So I don't think they found product market fit yet.
And it's fine. Look, as long as
You're
you
on a
have a
journey.
runway, you're on a journey. You will get there eventually if you are doing the right
But the
things.
thing is, once you raise that kind of money,
Surely there should be pressure to do more.
there will be pressure. Not even sure that there will be pressure because I don't think getting that agency banking license was not as a result of patience, or as a result of we need to make something happen now. Remember, they didn't launch with payments. They started doing payments last year. I think it was that we need to add revenue streams. And once you raise that kind of money, it's like, okay, what's your path to profitability? Nobody's going to be like, oh, we have merchant data, blah 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 blah, because it's clear that nobody's buying merchant data because we don't really value it like that here. So it's now, and you've done like a big round, and they've hired like some really heavy.
Yeah, they've had quality talent, at least on
Perhaps
Like they have no,
change
I
is
have like
coming.
senior guys now. Like
Yeah,
I think someone from Nibs or something. It was like some
yeah.
senior.
Someone from OP.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just say there's concern. There's concern on my side. I wish them. I hope this year they finally find it, because it's a nice little niche idea. Wow, what they started out with.
I feel like over time, right? This I my hot take, and again, I might be saying this because I don't have sense, but I feel like eventually we will get to a point where these things are mainstream, like bookkeeping type features are more mainstream for small businesses, like just giving enough time. But then the question is, what are you doing before that time? I was betting on
How,
Keeper
yeah, how
too.
you surviving until you get to
Yes,
that point.
yeah, I was betting on them because, like I said, to me it looked like a clear. One thing I was even thinking that they would do was like this merchant data that you say you don't particularly rate is the reason why more established lenders don't look at these guys. But if you give these more established lenders that visibility into this business, because really that's what lenders are looking for. Lending is a credit risk thing, it's math, it's a science. So if I can see the numbers that this guy is doing, like his transaction velocity, his credit volumes, all of that, I can then take a decision on whether or not to lend to him. I thought that that was going to be their play because that's how I would have played it. I won't even bother looking for agency, and I would now use that credit access as my prop to the merchants to get them to display the behavior that I want to see on my app.
But it's a chicken and egg problem. So for you to get that level of, for you to get into the room
You need to have
in a
the
bank,
volumes
you need to have the
already.
volumes. You need to have product market fit.
Oh, fair
For
enough.
you to be able to, well, for these guys to be able to trust you, that to put all the information there, they need to be able to, they need to know that you are going to be able to get them a loan from a bank. So which one do you start from?
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a very niche, and the thing is, the reason why is a Nigeria problem. We are very, and it's one thing people don't understand.
It's a poor
We
country.
are very poor, and our needs are very primitive, like very basic. Like when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are like at the bottom.
Yeah, and all the activities that facilitate the bottom are profitable activities. The higher up you go, it's why financials. I was telling somebody that all the health techs or most of the health techs that I've seen in Nigeria that are profitable are fintech adjacent. There you're doing health insurance or you're doing something because you are facilitating that bottom, that food, clothing, shelter,
Yeah,
that
it's
base
very,
level.
very, very much survival.
Yeah, that's why
For,
fintech pops because it's
for
money
someone to
movement for
download,
everyday life.
for someone to download an app and be managing their stock on the app,
You must be comfortable. They're eating
exactly,
good.
must have phone. Have you used any of these techno phones before? You must have phone that can actually render the app well first. If you have phone that can render the app first, that means they are higher up in the thing. There are not that many
How
of
is
those guys.
Kudigo doing? Because Kudigo was doing something similar, but instead of like what Kudigo was doing was that they had these terminals that were like Android terminals that could do everything, even scan SKU units of like products and things, and then do simple bookkeeping for their merchants.
I don't know what happened to Kodiko, to be honest. I think they went and entered one kind of agreement with one of these tech egg ones that did not land very well for them. I will not say who, but I think we all know who.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, I just feel like,
And that's where things
and
kind
that's
of just
another
got
point
left.
again. Just like sidebar, when you are signing agreements or contracts with,
Exclusivity. Call it
yeah,
big,
like
big boy.
exclusive contracts, don't. I used to say something, and this is me like working in a bank. Like then sometimes startups used to come to talk to us, and what I really used to think deep down was that I feel like any startup that is approaching a bank for anything that is not debt, you're not you're not really ready like that. Talk less of like signing exclusive agreements with like the established players. Like, guy, go and fight in the ruffle. Then when you make small progress, these are the guys that will be falling over to even get even 10% of your business. They will give you all the concessions in this world to get that business. But yeah,
I think this has been a good enough chat. I think Zero can end this episode. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
First episode.